Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu are amazing Nintendo Switch games. Released in mid-November, this is the third time that we have revisited Kanto. And I must say, the greatest aspect of Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, in my opinion, is the presentation. The reason I say the presentation is at its absolute best in this game is because of just how amazing the graphics look with the Nintendo Switch graphics. I'm serious, this game just looks so marvelous and so amazing. We literally went from 8-bit Game Boy graphics to just, I don't even know what this is. This is like high-def Pokemon graphics, but revisiting Kanto with, ugh. But that's not where Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu thrives in as well. They actually redefined the gameplay by letting you use the Joy-Cons to capture Pokemon. And handheld mode, it's quite interesting as well. And not only that, there's the gym leaders and the amount of fun and challenge that the original games had, all remastered into this game. So if you're familiar with the older games, you're not missing much because the gameplay is pretty much the same. So yeah, without further ado, let's review Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu and get this review started, shall we? We are going to review Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are amazing Pokemon games. Released in November of 2018, this game is a remake of two other Pokemon games, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green and Pokemon Red and Blue. While I believe that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are amazing games, the gameplay has been completely revamped from the original games and the other Pokemon games that followed before it. But Nintendo did it in a way that's both accessible and rewarding to the player, which is something they did great on their end. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are far from perfect games though. Some of the additional things that were in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, like the Generation 2 and Generation 3 Pokemon, and the Sevii Islands, and more instances, are absent in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Yeah, in my opinion, this game is more of a remake that follows in the footsteps of the original Pokemon Red and Blue, and not so much Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, which is really both a good and a slightly disappointing thing. But the disappointment is small in the grand scheme of what this game truly represents. Don't worry, I'll talk about more of this and the game's criticism in the negative part of this review. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are games that we have dreamed about as kids. A Pokemon like Red and Blue, but with amazing next-gen graphics you could take on handheld mode on the go. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are perfect games since, like I said previously, it's amazing to play in handheld mode as well, which in my opinion is my personal preference. I believe that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are great games and great remakes. So yeah, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are amazing games!
You're a 23-year-old freak who eats Hot Pockets and watches daytime television. You suck and you're a stupid asshole.
What did you say, you no-good Pikachu? Alright, let's go! No pun intended. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were shown during a press conference in Japan on May 30th, 2018. These games are geared towards more of a casual demographic. Junichi Masuda stated that these games were in development for 2 years, which is around the time Pokemon Go came out. On November 22nd, 2018, the game sold 3 million copies worldwide in its first week. The game has actually had mixed reviews, both positive and negative, which I actually find interesting. All in all, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were important games that helped push the sales of the Nintendo Switch and have mostly a good reception all around with most Pokemon fans. Okay, now it's time to talk about the story of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. The story of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee follows in the exact same way that the original Pokemon Red and Blue do. You battle the 8 gym leaders, battle the Elite Four, and become the Pokemon League champion. And on your journey, you try to overcome the villainous Team Rocket organization. The game also takes more inspiration from Pokemon Yellow, such as having Pikachu and Eevee as your starter Pokemon, and encountering Team Rocket throughout your journey, Jesse and James. There's only one small difference in your story that is compared to the other games, and that you have a different rival. Don't worry, Blue still pops up from time to time, but yeah, you have a new rival, who I suppose is a more friendly rival. I really don't get why they changed up the rival, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not too much of a big deal. Because the game looks so amazing with the high definition graphics, experiencing the story again as an adult versus a kid was such a reinvigorating and amazing experience with the game's amazing presentation. All in all, if you found Pokemon Red and Blue's story to be amazing, longtime fans will come to appreciate the story in Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, since it's pretty much the exact same thing as Red and Blue. All in all, the story is great. Man, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are great games. You agree, right, Pikachu? Haha! I countered you this time, you no good rotten bastard! Ugh! Okay, let's talk about the gameplay of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee now! Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is different compared to all of the Pokemon games before this one. Instead of battling wild Pokemon like you did in the previous games, every wild Pokemon you encounter, you have to capture them. Now when you capture a wild Pokemon, you can get chains. By doing this, you can get more rare Pokemon. Every time you capture a wild Pokemon, depending on how fast and how well you caught the Pokemon will determine how much experience you get. They made catching Pokemon in this game very easy. They even have starters in the wild as well. Only the original Gen 1 Pokemon is in this game, and that can be both a good and bad thing depending on how you look at it. I actually do have a little bit of criticism about that, so I'll discuss it next in the negatives part of this review. Although for stupid Mew, you have to use the Pokeball Plus accessory. Ugh. This game got rid of effort values. Instead, you have this new value system. In my opinion, it completely changes the game so much. You see, you have these different candies for each stat. And then there are the Pokemon exclusive candies. I'm not gonna go too in depth talking about it, but let me just say this. I used 150 Pikachu candies and had a Pikachu so freaking powerful that it was 100 stats above my Mewtwo, and granted both of them were the same level. Yeah. If you max out your stats using these values, you literally get Pokemon that are RCS level God tier. I'm not kidding you. Even weak, unevolved Pokemon can wreck the shit out of legendary Pokemon if you max out the stats using the candies. Let me say that the candies in this game can be both good and bad, and completely changes the fun on this game depending on how you look at it. Also, what I like about this game too is that you can really get creative with what Pokemon you want to use on your team. I used Hitmonlee on my team, and I also had the 3 starters, and having only the Gen 1 Pokemon can be good since you're not dealing with a huge roster since the pool of Pokemon is thin. All in all, Pokemon Let's Go's candy system really leaves the door open for how powerful you want to make your Pokemon. I like this that Nintendo's doing, and it reminds me of games like Breath of the Wild. You don't have to battle Ganon right away. You can make your character more powerful when you want to battle Ganon. In Super Mario Odyssey, you can collect all the power moons you want, to determine how and when you want to advance in the game. And Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, another example. This game opens the door for how powerful you want to make your Pokemon stats using the candy system. I like these most recent games where Nintendo leaves it up to you, the player, to just how much you want to grow your Pokemon's abilities, and I can respect that, and I think that's a cool thing for Nintendo to do. Going back to the game's main story's battles, they are not too difficult. Pretty much the whole entire game was a breeze. The only challenge I really had was the Elite Four, and I did have a little trouble with them, but besides that, this game's really not that hard. All in all, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee has so many open-ended components to its gameplay that I really feel that it excels the best in. All in all, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee has such good gameplay, and it's very open-ended, which I can respect. Okay, now it's time to talk about the negatives of Pokemon Let's Go now. I have a few criticisms with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. The first thing is that I am disappointed there are no Sevi Islands. The point of having a third remake will be able to evolve upon Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Another criticism I have is that there is only Gen 1 Pokemon. It really limits what Pokemon you can use on your team. You have to remember, the Dratini line and the Ghastly line are the only Dragon and Ghost type Pokemon in this game, really not giving you much type coverage to work with. Not only that, the game I feel is just way too easy. I feel that if you get your candies maxed out, it's even easier. I don't think I need to repeat how I feel about that. All in all, Pokemon Let's Go's flaws are very noticeable, but at the same time, 2 out of these 3 complaints do have their positives, but with noticeable negatives, and I feel that the negatives really outweigh the positives, at least in my opinion. Okay, so what are my final thoughts about Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu? Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are fantastic games. What Nintendo did was just ingenious. They made a casual Pokemon game, but with engaging gameplay elements that appeal to both casual and hardcore gamers with its open-ended gameplay. I feel Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are a celebration of what made Pokemon so popular back in the late 1990s. I came into this game not as a regular Pokemon fan, I came into this game as a fan of what Pokemon used to be, and that made me appreciating the game so much more. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee aren't the core Pokemon games on Switch, we all understand that, but as side games, Nintendo literally nailed it out of the park. And if this is just a taste of what the next Pokemon game will be, then I am more than hyped. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, with its improved graphics, has such great presentation as well, and I feel this is a great game. That's not to say that this game has its problems though. No Sevi Islands and the lack of challenge really hinders the game, but if you go on it with a fresh mindset and what this game truly represents, I feel you'll appreciate it so much more. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee gets an 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching this video game review, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video game review. Thanks for watching. Whoa, what's that?
I'm sick and tired of you stealing my spotlight. You may have beaten me last time, but I am going to destroy you, you no-good piece of garbage.
You know what? You've messed with me on the wrong night, Pikachu. I'm not gonna tolerate your bullcrap any longer. You wanna fight me, Pikachu? Bring it on! He's biting me! He's not gonna get me! Ouch! Ow! 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 You're not gonna give me... You're not gonna give...
I'm gonna kick your ass, you little bitch.
He's got me! You think you can beat me? You think you can beat me? Freaking mess with me, huh? You're not gonna win. You're freaking unbelievable! I made a Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu review for you! Cause I actually cared about you! I cared about you! We go many years back! You're not gonna beat me! Cut it out! Cut it out! Please, Pikachu, cut it out! I care about you! I can't win. The shoe. There's no chance. I gotta get the shoe. That's how I won last time. The Thunderbolt's way too strong. I'm gonna faint. I won. Thanks for watching this Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee review. And I'm gonna go see the paramedic. Bye.